Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel and also Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
So today's going to be a good one because it'll be our first video for 2024.
Yes, and today we've decided to talk about something very important and very in line with the new year.
Yeah.
And that's going to be how to stay motivated this year as an actor, filmmaker and creative.
Yeah, so stay tuned for some good tips.
So the first tip we have is to constantly be learning. And there are many different ways you can do that by always watching a lot of different series or movies.
There's a lot of resources nowadays which I personally like to use, which is, this platform here, YouTube. That's a huge one, When I want to learn how to do something in terms of film related, I would just hop on YouTube, and it's so easy nowadays because there are so many resources for us.
Yeah, and I think to really seek out the shows and the movies that you want to create or be in and just watch them and study them. How did they make it and all of the works that go with that.
Okay, so the second point is removing any unnecessary distractions. And, the way that you can do that is just think about things in your life that are getting in the way of reaching your full creative potential.
Yeah, and sometimes that can help by just maybe sitting down and really dot pointing, what are the things that are distracting me from creating? And I think the phone is a big one.
Yeah.
You can get so caught up in scrolling and then it just makes you feel bad, so just really kind of having a time limit and really making it a habit to really reduce those distractions too.
Yeah, and also one thing is trying to remove yourself from a bad environment, because your environment is so important to how you're going to create or what inspires you. If it's like home, then you can go to like a library, or you can go to like somewhere like a beach and you can try to do your creative stuff there.
With the removing distraction thing too, something I did recently and it really helped was I was on the train, and usually I will watch videos or listen to music, but I just turned everything off and just looked at nature.
Yeah,
and nature itself.
Yeah, definitely.
And just sitting, that brought so many creative ideas to me that hasn't happened for a while. So yeah, I'd say that's a good one too. The third tip we have is to create. Create. It doesn't matter if you're an actor and you're doing self-tapes, or you're a filmmaker and you're just doing short clips like you used to do.
Yeah, I mean, I still do it. So for me, one big part of the inspiration or getting inspiration is sometimes I just want to just randomly create something. Last year, I made quite a few videos. I made one where I was just running along the beach and along this cliff, and I just wanted to do it because I felt like it was going to be an awesome idea. And after that, I felt so inspired. I'm like, okay, what can I do next? And then we even did one for her, which was the Raven short, which we just had a lot of fun doing it.
I think the other thing about the creating and doing those clips is not to feel like it has to be perfect. Sometimes you really just have to go out and just do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to keep learning the more that you do. That's inevitable, especially when you're starting out.
Okay, so the next tip is to set small goals and achieve them.
Yep, so setting goals is really important, small goals even. It just makes things more tangible, because if we have a film that we're creating and we don't have any time limits or due dates or anything, it could be completed in 5 years. We've never done that, thankfully, because we set goals. And even it can be really small little goals, within a couple months, I want to create one small clip. That's better than nothing,
Yeah, and especially when you're making films, having those little goals is really going to help, because it's for example, if you have do shot list, do, camera checks.
And you check them off.
And then in the end, we always do that. We write a list of things that we want to do, and when we finish them, we kind of cross them off. And every time that I cross the last one off, I feel so good, because I'm like, okay, it's all done now. And I think having that is going to be much better than just to not set small goals and just think of the bigger goal, because I feel like sometimes that can be very overwhelming when you just have to think, wow, that's such a big goal. But it's just like anything in life. If you take small steps, you're going to climb higher and higher and higher. And when you get to the top and you look back, you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe it. But it all started with one small step.
Yes, and that's something my mum always tells me as well. Just look at the step in front of you. Don't worry about the rest. Just focus on that. And that's going to eventually lead you to where you really want to go. And I think it's also good sometimes to set a little reward for yourself after you've ticked off all those goals, because then you're like, okay, I really want to get these goals done, because then I'm going to reward myself with that. And that's important too.
Yeah, I mean, freaking ice cream is a good one. So in terms of this industry, it's all about collaborating. And when you collaborate, you're going to work with all different types of people in your projects. So one very important thing that we realized is to kind of surround yourself with really good people, or just a really good team of people.
Yeah, people who have similar goals to you, they're very like-minded. It's really going to help you stay motivated. I think we're in a very blessed position that we're both together and we both have the same goals. So if one of us is feeling down one day, the other one can lift them up, and vice versa. And that's a very helpful thing.
One tip I would say is just to be wary of people who are just very negative, or because that negative energy attaches onto you. Whatever energy that your team or your group has, it's so important.
And I think as well, if you're in a position where it's kind of hard to get away from people like that, just find little ways to have your time and have your peace. And whether that's being by yourself, going for a walk in nature, or researching YouTube and looking at people who've done these things before you and just learning from them as well.
Yeah, and to build up on that is just find people who aim high, who have these big goals, and maybe they are where you want to be, and learn from them, because surely enough, the analogy goes,
but if you run with people much faster than you, all right, yeah, you might come in last every single time, but your time will be better.
Okay, so the next tip we have is to take a break.
It's time to break.
Now, in staying motivated, that might be like, but I've learned this the hard way, and I have been sort of like a workaholic where I just keep working nonstop without taking a break, and it's led me to burnout, which can be very common if you do that. And then when you go into burnout, and this has happened to me quite a few times in the past, where you can't do anything. You're just so sick, or you're so tired, or you end up in a really bad place that you literally can't do anything. You can't do any of the work. So yeah, taking a break in between is very important.
And I think people don't realize that having your break time is just as important as you grinding it out, every day, day in, day out. And it really does help you. It even inspires you sometimes, you take a break, you do something nice, like we were saying, you go for a walk and stuff. And after that, you're just like, wow, I'm ready to get back into it again. Also, your mental health is such a priority in terms of you being a creative, because if you aren't good here, then everything else, it
affects everything. Yeah, and there's been times, I know we both sort of witnessed this, I think around the COVID time, when we were really trying to still hustle and do things, where we had been creating things for so long without a break that it got to a point where we were like, I'm starting to resent the very work that I love to do. I don't know if I want to create, and for me that was like, no, because this is the thing I want to do, this is the thing I love, and for me to start resenting it is a very bad thing mentally. And that's when I was like, okay, no, I can't do this to myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Take a break.
Yeah, take a break.
Take one.
Now.
Now.
So the last point is remembering why you're doing this, which is such a crucial point. Having purpose in your life And it doesn't matter what your purpose or what your goal is to be. It could be, I want to be the greatest in this field, or I want to do this to support my family. It needs to be a burning desire in your soul as a creative.
Yeah, something that's really going to drive you, because that's ultimately what's going to keep you motivated as you create. You know, if you don't have any goals of why you even want to do this, it's very likely that it's going to be hard to even stay motivated when you're going through those tough times. And so, yeah, having that very clear purpose. And I think if you don't know, it's very helpful to sit down and just jot point, why do I even like this? Why do I want to do it? What do I want to hope to achieve in the future? And then sometimes you can even print that out and have it on a wall near where your workspace is. So whenever you're creating, you're remembering that. And that's really going to drive and motivate you.
Yeah, everyone's goal is personal to them. But I can tell you that once you find it, during those really rough days, those really dark days, it's going to get you through just remembering why you're doing it and just having that vision of the end goal. It's just going to be that extra motivation that's going to push you through and help you go towards that new step. So having that why and that purpose is just, it's basically how you're going to succeed.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our tips for staying motivated in 2024.
Yeah, we hope you learned something or hope you were inspired in some way. And
Yeah, and honestly, just wishing you the best for this year. And, you know, everyone says, oh my God, this is the year I'm going to do something. But if you really set your mind to it and you really put in the work and take your rest as well, then some good things are sure to come out of that.
Yeah, or if just having this video saved somewhere and just watching it whenever you feel like, you know, I want to learn or I want to really get more.
Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe and comment if you want to hear any other advice from us on acting or filmmaking.
Yeah, and we'll see you next video. All right, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.